WMB1 Radio broadcasting live 24/7. All music genres. WMB1 Radio. Your urban music link.
Welcome to WMB1 Radio and Straight to the Point Sports on this Thursday. Cool evening. But we're here with the normal guys for the first time in 3 weeks. Steve Lopes and Derek Consasio.
Derek's back from suspension.
What's up, everyone?
Rumor had it that you were nervous about being near Cowboys, Lions, and then rumor had it that Randy Butler sunned you a few times, and you were nervous. You didn't want to show up, so we said we'll give him time off.
Yeah, you gotta love the rumors,
We said we'll give him time off. Let him get over whatever he needs to get over. At any rate, we're back, and it's a good time to be a Boston fan right now. It's a good time to be a Boston fan.
I guess.
Yeah, a sport that we didn't know about yesterday, the inauguration of the Women's Hockey League. The championship was Boston and Minnesota, and unfortunately, Boston lost in Game 5, the deciding game. But another women's league doing well, and another local team that made it a long ways.
Yeah. So obviously we'll talk about basketball. We'll talk about the Celtics. Obviously, they were the first in the conference to clinch a spot in the title game, and we'll talk about just what he said they should be. We'll talk about that on their so far what has turned out to be pretty historic when you look at how they breezed through the competition, and that's a subplot. We'll talk about that. Basically 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, and they've got 12 wins to 2 losses. That ranks up there with the elite of anyone who has made the NBA championship. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the pros and the cons. Also, the question of the day is, obviously Boston's going to the NBA Finals, but all is not well in Boston. People are all over Jason Tatum. Why is he getting negative pushback? We'll talk about that. Yeah, it is crazy. We'll talk about it, in length. Also, we'll talk about the Western Conference Finals. Game 4 tonight. Game 5 tonight. Game 5 tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how Minnesota obviously salvaged their season and was able to extend it, actually at least for one more game. We'll talk about that in length. We'll talk about some of the guys from Minnesota that shined in the semifinals who are struggling in the final and the Western Conference Finals, as well as the combo of Luka and Kyrie, looking pretty deadly right now. It wasn't the case when all season, but they're putting it together just in time in the playoffs, and hopefully for their sake, just in time before the finals, if they can seal the deal. We know it's very early, and no team has never come back from 0-3 to win. The last team who was in that 2 years ago, the last team that actually last year, that did that was the Celtics, which was last year. They were down 0-3, came back, and had a chance to win at home on their home floor, but they were stopped. A lot of bad things happened. Tatum got hurt within the first minute of the game, and the blowout was on site and happening. But so Minnesota gets the chance to try to rewrite the books, beat the odds. Now down 3-1 going into tonight's game at home. It's got to feel good to be at home. So they got that in their back pocket.
The first 2 home games, right?
Yeah, they haven't been good on the road. Well, there's no tomorrow. You lose your first and you lose your second, you can hang your hat on. We still got 2 more to lose, but you lose the third, and now you're on the brink. So we'll see how they handle that tonight. Also, we'll talk about Major League Baseball, they incorporated the Negro League stats. And all of a sudden, it changes the narrative because we could talk about who's the GOAT now. And the Negro League definitely has a candidate to throw in that debate. And with the stats, it's pretty cut and dry. We'll talk about that, and also we'll talk about the NFL's wide receivers waiting game for high stakes. There's a few wide receivers out there.
Day by day.
There's a few wide receivers out there who are just waiting. They're licking their chops as the days go by. They are just sitting there saying, "Pay me the money. Pay me
It
the
almost makes you
money."
wonder if they'd be better off just playing out there last year and seeing what's out there because
Why-
every year it's going to whoever signs
But,
now.
but why take a risk of playing on
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
last year?
that's a thing too. But I just feel like they're going to be mad when somebody surpasses them, and then they're going to be malcontent because the wide receivers are divas. Soon as somebody makes more money
Yeah,
than
listen.
them, they're going to want to get repaid.
Not for nothing. If you're making 50 million a year to play football at receiver, you should be
Well, there's
content.
nobody's going to make that, but that's quarterback money. The wide receivers might get 35, but I don't see nobody getting.
No, nobody's gonna get 50 million dollars.
I'm
That's
just throwing it out there.
50 million is reserved for that
I just
QB
say,
spot.
whatever you sign, honor. I don't want to see these divas in 2 years being upset because they're no longer the highest.
Good luck with that.
Are you talking about Jefferson?
No, he won't.
Good luck with that.
Huh?
I don't think he'd be the one like that.
Good luck with that because football is the only sport in which typically you see them, let's sign and then let's hold out and rip it up. Basketball, their salaries are where they need to be, unless a guy goes from rags to riches overnight. But typically he'll be on a
Like
Tip-
Jalen Brown?
typically he'll be on. No, he didn't go from rags to riches. He went. He was. You got to remember. He made first second team all stars, and he was an all star in 2 to 3 previous seasons. He just basically hit it the nail on the head because he was the first in the new collective bargaining agreement with the supermax.
He should
Um,
be very happy with his contract.
he
I
is.
don't care if 10
He is.
guys get a better deal,
He is.
Really?
but I don't want to hear no whining like you're underpaid because you could be doing a lot of other jobs.
I don't think.
And for
he's
50
gonna-
something
No,
yeah.
no.
I don't think he's gonna-
No, it's just a pride thing that somebody you don't.
Well, this is
he already made comments about, so I'm not first or second team this year.
that was only a
He was
res-
the third- he was
that
the third team.
that was only a
That's
response.
already in his head.
That was only in the well. The thing is,
Stephen
the thing is that was only in response to not making it. He expected to make it because of the fact that he made it last year. I think that obviously when you make when you get that honor and you play pretty much at the same level. I mean, there wasn't a drop off in his game.
A lot of other guys.
Yeah.
the game up.
There's
Yeah,
severe
But
competition.
this is what I'm talking about. Once you make it, so now you feel like you belong. But the good
I
thing
think he
is,
should have been third team. I
the-
don't think he should have been second, but he didn't even make third, right?
no, he didn't make third. He didn't make any.
Should've
He didn't make
should've
any.
made third.
Over who?
Who was the third team selections?
I can't remember. But the bottom line is, basketball players get paid, rather handsomely. Unlike football players who play in a violent sport, the basketball play. Listen, if you're going to have your kid want to play a sport right now, it's either going to be soccer, baseball, or basketball because those guys get paid. And they get paid. Yes, and they get paid well.
All right, you ready? LeBron,
Third? Is this third?
13. LeBron, Steph Curry, Sabonis, Halliburton, and Devin Booker.
Devin Booker's an off guard. Steph Curry's a point guard. LeBron's a small forward. Should he have made it over LeBron?
Yes.
Good year this year.
Yes. LeBron was out for he was out for a good amount of time of games too. I just think that
But I did
it's
say he should have made third.
He should have made third.
Second.
No, he shouldn't have made second.
Because
No,
that was
second,
Anthony
definitely
Davis and
not.
all them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think he should have been on the third. I don't think he should have slipped off the list. Like I said, his level of play was right there. It was straight.
Second team, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis. I don't think Kawhi Leonard should.
Kawhi Leonard
No.
was more time than anybody.
But
No.
Kawhi Leonard shouldn't. He should have been maybe third, if anything.
Well, he made the maximum amount of games in order to whatchamacallit, but he still was out quite a bit of games.
Especially during crunch time at the end.
Yeah, well, he wasn't there at all.
Mhm.
He wasn't there at all. So that speaks for itself. In regards to that subject, once again, we'll talk about the wide receivers who basically there's 3 wide receivers who were just sitting around waiting for the dominoes to fall. And once the first gets signed, I think everybody is just going to up that one, or at the very least sign the same thing. So we'll talk about that. Remember, the phone lines are always open. All right. Phone lines are open, 774-425-2631. Let's get it up there for you so you can see it. If you want to talk about anything that we are discussing, or if you want to add your opinion, or add something else that you may want to talk about, feel free to give us a call. Also, you can download the WNB1 mobile app. It's available on Android and iPhone, or you can also listen to us on our website, WNB1.com. All right. So here we go. We're going to talk about first. We'll talk about the Boston Celtics. All right. Obviously, they were the first ones to clinch a spot in the championship game. They defeated the Indiana Pacers 4-0, and it might sound like a sweep, but it was far from it.
That was a crazy
Far from it.
I've ever seen in
Yeah, it was the closest sweep ever. I mean, you think about it.
Game 1, they gave the game away.
So game 1 and game 1, game 3, and game 4. Boston came back from behind, either from several points down or double digits. Game 3, they came back from 18 points down, and won in the final minutes.
That's the experience factor.
Yes, not being able to close.
Boston's a young team. They've been in that position way more. But game 1, Indiana just gave it away.
Oh,
You have 10 seconds.
They gave away game 3 as well.
Yeah, but they did a Reggie Miller thing in game 1. There was nobody that thought the Pacers weren't going to win game 1 with 10 seconds.
So the win probability. Do you know the win probability in that last 10 seconds? They showed it. It was 97%. 90. All they had to do was inbounds the ball.
They would have got fouled.
Because they would have got fouled, and they would have.
Turned it over.
All you had to do was
Can't
hit
give
one.
up a free
All you had to do was hit one free throw, and the game's over. You could have missed the second one,
But
and the game's over.
That's basic basketball.
Yeah.
Inbounding the ball.
And first and foremost, you think about. All right, so when I tell my kids, in a close situation like that, I think when you look at game 1, there was a couple of things wrong that they did. Number one, I don't think that you should be going towards your basket. All right. And when you're and number two, and if you're going to go to your basket, you come to the ball. You don't run away from the ball. It's a straight line to the ball. You don't want to go away from the ball because you give the chance the guy to get ball you man. All those things go out. And those are a couple of things wrong that were done wrong. And to be done wrong at that level is it's
Heartbreaking.
yeah, well, it's heartbreaking for the Pacers. Not so much for the Celtics fans, but yeah, they had a 97% chance of winning that game, and they gave it up. And then you let Jaylen Brown hit that three, and then you just in the overtime, it just
Percentage of that shot, he was leaning back.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah,
the corner.
Double pumped, like
That's
Yeah.
1 out of 10 makes.
yeah.
Everything went perfect for the Celtics and horrible for the Pacers in that last 10 seconds. But those other games, Boston just came back on.
it could have been that series could easily have been 3-1.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
at least 2-2.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying going Indiana's favor 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have.
Yeah, because all the game, like I said, all the games
Knowing how to close out.
in Indiana, they had double double-digit leads.
And I think if Indiana would have played at home with Halliburton, they would have gotten at least one of those. But you can't have the guy who handles the ball and sets up the offense be out. They played admirably, but they're a beast at home.
They played better without him, I thought.
They don't have that three. McConnell plays great with Hot, but he can't hit the jump shot.
No, I understand that, but I'm just
So you
saying.
can pack it in.
Say-
Siakam did all he could.
I thought they gave Celtics a better game without him than they did with him.
They played 2 without him, right?
Yep.
3 and 4.
I think that they played with a lot of heart, a lot of
All 4 games.
yes, all 4 games, a lot of heart.
Right.
Never back down.
The guy that moved the point guard, he played his ass off.
Oh yeah. He played. So he had 2 games in which he had career highs. One game he had 32, and the other game I think he had 28.
Moved the point guard.
Yeah.
He started after 2 with Halliburton.
Yeah.
And Halliburton.
Yeah.
was
What's
out.
his name?
They put him at the 1 and moved Stevenson, whatever his name is, to the.
So McConnell still came off the bench.
Yeah, McConnell came off the bench. McConnell came off the bench.
The kid with New Bedford ties.
Oh, Gordon.
No.
Something like that.
Is it Stevenson?
No.
Shepard.
Yeah, he got inserted into the
He into the starting lineup.
lineup, and he became the first rookie since I think Jason Tatum to start in the Eastern Conference Final playoff game. So yeah, but yeah, they played with a lot of heart. They played with a Nemhart, that's his name.
Andrew Nemhart.
They played with a lot of pace, and they did what they set out to do, was get a shot up within 8 seconds. They played helter skelter, and they played high intensity. Their problem is they did it for 3 3/4 of a game. And that other quarter, they let the Celtics, do what they was
Experience.
experience kicked in. They didn't know how to close, nor did they have a closer. Siakam, I think,
Role players.
Siakam-
Number 2s.
Siakam, I feel by the time the 4th quarter came, he was gassed. He did all his hard work in the beginning of the
So
game.
active.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it is none of the Celtics could cover him.
Nope.
None of the Celtics. What he was doing was, you put Al Horford on him, he was just going by him. You put Jaylen Brown on him, he was just drop stepping all day. And for the life, I don't know why the Celtics didn't put Tatum on him, because he gave more size and strength. But they chose to go either Brown or Horford.
They had Tatum on the 33 there, Turner.
Yeah, which to me,
Bad matchup.
yes, to me, which is because there you go again. If he wanted to, but I think they rolled the dice because Turner he's not a back to the basket type of guy. So that was one of the things.
The size discrepancy was crazy.
Yeah. So obviously they went on, but the 4, if you look from the outside and you just read, the 4-0, you would think, oh yeah, it was a sweep. It was nothing, but closest sweep I've ever seen in my life. None of those games were, with the exception of game 2, were it was always the paces for, like I said, for just about 3 3/3 of the game, and then it was done. But we can flip over to the other side, and we could talk about the run in which they've gone on. Once again, 12-2. I believe they tied. I want to say they tied the Warriors for the best record. And there was one other team. I can't remember. But percentage wise, it was it's historic in what they're doing, and
I put an asterisk though.
yeah, you got to put it. You can put it. You can put it on
They
it.
just
But
like
that's
when
not their-
Milwaukee went.
that's
They
not their
happened to catch
fault,
the
though.
luck. I know. I heard the same stuff when Milwaukee went.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change it now just because it's a different team. Y'all were throwing that at me when Milwaukee
never-
won it. Everybody did.
I did.
Milwaukee got lucky. This one, Boston is in the same boat. Boston's playing well, but I don't think that would have floated against, a team that was
The only thing,
than
the only thing that's going to
any of
separate
those Western.
the only thing that's going to separate the Boston run from the Milwaukee run is even in the finals, Milwaukee faced a Phoenix team minus their second best player,
Who was that?
Chris Paul. You remember? He hurt his shoulder. Hurt his
Hurt.
shoulder. He was out. Game 2. After that, out, gone. See you later. They did it in every single round. They had somebody up into the finals. The Celtics aren't going to have that problem. Unless, God
Hopefully,
forbid,
people
someone
can
doesn't
stay
get
healthy.
hurt.
I want to see everybody on the West. If it's Dallas or Minnesota, I want to see them healthy, and I want to see Porzingis come back.
Yeah,
because I want to see both teams at their best. But the talk I'm hearing out of the Celtics camp is Porzingis really ain't as close as people think. He can't jump. He's running straight lines, but he can't lift. So he has to still improve. So it's almost a good thing that Boston won so early because he has to get that back. Like he can go straight, but he can't go side to side and he can't lift. So
I don't know.
how
We'll
much
see.
he can help him yet. That extra 10 days they're going to have though.
We'll see what it looks like when he comes back. But yeah, so as far as history goes, that's another thing we could,
I got a question I'm curious to ask you, and Derek, chime in. What do you think of Mazzulla's coaching job in the playoffs this year?
I think he's awful.
I think he's better than he has been, but he's still not elite.
No.
I go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
I won't. I'll reserve judgment because the way I see it, the Eastern Conference Finals has been a cakewalk, and it truly much coaching hasn't been needed. It hasn't. It hasn't.
Adjustments to get them back when they were down big to Indiana. They had to show high and come. Was that all the players, or did he make some adjustments?
No, I don't think he made any. I don't think he made any adjustments. He played his regular rotation. And even more so, what shined through for me is the lack of bench production in which the Celtics got.
That's not on him though. I don't think that bench is.
But so how could you make adjustments? Because typically, you're going to get somebody who comes off the bench and is going to be a difference maker. It was all their starters.
They did a more heightened attempt on defense, and I thought they shared the ball more on offense. I didn't think they were relying on the three as much.
No, that's just it. When they fell, when they got down,
it was a three.
Threes
Yeah.
they took.
Yeah.
The only adjustment that was made is they started going to the rack,
and they could do that against any team in the league. But when they did that against the Pacers, who already weren't known for defense, it changed the whole complexity of the game.
And the funny part about it is,
I thought they also played some defense themselves.
They're a defensive team
when they choose to be. When they choose, yeah, it's not. So the team. So let's be frank about this. So the difference between Ime and Mazzulla is one is a coach that wants to get up 45 threes in a game. The other one built a team. And everything that they did was based defensively, and their philosophies are totally different.
Held people accountable. You didn't see nobody challenging Ime like they challenged Mazzulla.
So I don't think so. We're going to see. Obviously, we're going to see it in the Western Conference Finals because the talent level, I think, is going to be clearly superior. Of what they faced, as opposed to the Eastern Conference Final. Will it help? Will it hurt? It's yet to remain to be seen. But I can't say that. Okay, he did a spectacular job because the teams that he played against were they were hurt. They were hurt, and they were expected to beat him. If you can't beat any of those teams without their stars, I think. You have issues.
Yeah.
So the jury's out on me. I'll make judgment as soon as the finals come, whenever that may happen, because there's going to come a point in time where he's going to have to make adjustments and not just rely on his starters. All those points that the starters scored. It was a heavy burden on them to have to score points, or else or else the L's would have came in. Sam Hauser has just been atrocious. He was atrocious in the well, Cornette was hurt.
Cornette got hurt.
He was hurt. Yes, he was hurt.
He hurt his wrist.
Uh, what's his name? The guard. He was off and on. Pritchard. He was off and on. He played good one game, then he was horrible for 2 games, and then he was good last. I don't know if it's because of the playoffs. These guys really haven't
To me, that's their
been heavily
biggest
involved.
Doc secret is who's going to support them off the bench when they have to go to the bench. They don't have that robo guy that can come off the bench and instant offense. They don't have proven people off the bench. So the when Porzingis comes back, that 6-man rotation is going to have to get it done, because I don't trust any of those other dudes. I don't trust Pritchard. I don't trust Hauser. I don't trust the guy they traded for, the forward there. I think that came over from the Pacers.
Yeah,
but none of them guys have stepped up and showed me that they can step up and add something to the Celtics' success. But the first 6, when Porzingis is there, they can compete with anybody.
Yeah. So the only thing that I think that could possibly help them when Porzingis comes back is putting Al on the bench, because he is playing a ton of minutes right now.
But if he's not going to hurt your team, but he'll only have to play in short spurts. Then you only need 1 or 2 of those other guys to contribute.
Yeah.
You get a good game from Pritchard or Hauser, but one of them has to have a good game.
Yeah. Hauser was he hit 2. He was like 2 out of 19 for the series. And that's just and he was, it wasn't as if he was getting those typical looks. He was getting, he was having to sidestep. He wasn't getting the catch and shoots. And even when he did get the catch and shoots, they were either long or short.
Do you think it's fatigue for him, even though he don't play that much?
I don't know. It's experience. It's definitely an experience thing.
He hasn't played this long.
It's definitely an experience thing. But the good thing is, you see guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They keep feeding them the ball and say, keep shooting. So that's a positive. Speaking of those two, Jaylen Brown obviously was named the Eastern Conference MVP. So this is where we're going. This is where we're going with it. All right, I'm gonna lay the stats out. All right, Jaylen Brown averaged 29.8 points a game. He shot 51% from the field. 51%. All right. 5 rebounds and 3 steals. He also hit the game-winning shot in game 1 and dropped 40 in game 2. All right. Jason Tatum averaged 30.3. He shot 31% from 3. All right. From three, but he was he wasn't at 51%. He was around, I want to say he was no, he was low 40s. He was low 40s. Yes. He was low 40s. I didn't look that up, but he was low 40s. He had double 30 and 10 and 6.3 assists a game. So a lot of people had your argument. He had a big. I think the person who had more of an impact was so you got to remember, game 1 was a very bad game for Jason Tatum. And if it weren't because of the heroics of Jaylen Brown, you might have had an L because he stepped up big. And and by no coincidence, it was the day before he thought he got snubbed from the All NBA team. He dropped 40. So that was a statement game for him.
But I don't think Tatum played bad just because people are identifying Brown as the Eastern Conference MVP. Tatum still played well. I just thought Brown was more impactful with what he did, and he did it with less volume. There was one game he was like 12 for 19 or something like that. I don't know, but his shooting stats were good. He was playing defense too, and I don't think he turned the ball over like we're used to seeing him doing. I don't know if Tatum had turnovers, but Brown usually has a lot of unforced turnovers. I thought Brown in every aspect excelled, and I think he was slightly better than Tatum. But why people are throwing shade on Tatum, I don't get that part. It's not like he had a horrible series. It's not like he hurt them.
Yeah, so that brings us to the next question. Obviously, like I said, the Celtics are going to the finals, but all isn't well. A lot of people throwing negative shade at Tatum. Why? Why do you think this is so? Anyone want to answer first?
Because they know he's gonna be the highest paid player in Boston next year, and they want him to earn his money.
Steve?
My thing with this whole argument, some people are going to agree and some people are going to hate it, but it's my honest assessment. To me, Brown and Tatum are stars, but they're not super